My eating philosophy is just stick to what you know and stick to what you know works. So, corn dogs every day. That's always the worst. Let's get that out of there. Corn dogs and Red Bull. It's never too early. You know, maybe driving these old cars is why I'm so good at multitasking, because I don't even have time for a cell phone right now, but I kind of got my hands full. Everybody wants these autonomous cars and leather seats and airbags, and I don't know, I kind of like the simplicity of old cars. Everybody's trying to insulate themselves from rough roads or the weather or everything else. I just think that causes a disconnect with your environment, your place, and kayaking demands you put yourself out there every time, and I like being uncomfortable. Trying to explain Banks to somebody is kind of tricky because it's not the most picturesque place. It's not just a small town, it's like, it's smaller than a small town. It's smaller than a tiny home. Banks is unique because it's at the confluence of the North and South Fork Payette River. If you're a kayaker or a rafter, Banks means something in that world. The same that the North Shore of Hawaii means something to surfers, or Yosemite means something to climbers. Middle of summer in Banks is, you know, everybody shows up to town and it's dirtbag paradise, basically. There's nowhere else in the world that you can have such challenging whitewater be roadside. The river growing up terrified me, but it just sort of kept calling me, and it was something that I wanted to do. My first experience on the river was at a kayak race, and there was hundreds of people up here on the Payette, you know. And I just remember seeing the energy of the people and just being like, this is something different. Now I've been in Banks for 21 years. I can't tell you how many people are like, well, you know, you can't do this forever. But I just remember asking myself, well, I didn't want to do this forever. I just want to do it right now. The Banks Cafe is basically an oasis on the Payette River. I mean, everybody is happy to camp out alongside the river, but then you have like this physical place and it becomes something of a community center. It's on a different value system of like, oh, I hope we make all this money. Capitalism tells you this is a terrible idea, but the community says this is the right thing to do. This part used to be the convenience store, and we just tried to turn it into more of like the local spot, the Whitewater Lounge. I'm not an expert in running a cafe or a restaurant, but the building is so old and there's so many intricacies and nuances. It's a lot like fixing my old cars, really, and it takes somebody with a little bit of creative mind to try to make it happen, basically. DIY Subaru, you know, if you don't have access to a welder or the right tools and you have a lot of cars, you can always use tech screws and license plates to fill in the floors. We got a custom shift knob here, and if we're really rallying, you know, you just really put her in gear. You know, for a small town, this sure is a lot of keys. We have like the key to the bathroom, key to the back door to the bathroom, men's bathroom, front door. This is to my 67 Chevy. I'm trying to sell that one. This is to the passenger door of the Land Rover. I don't even know which that key goes to. The funny thing is that the Subaru key works for the Land Cruiser, so that's kind of one less key to carry around, but this is the only key that really matters, the Volkswagen bus. I guess for a lot of people, it could look like a lot of chaos looking at this motor, but for me, I just kind of know what everything does, and it's kind of actually really relaxing to work on your car. Plus, I just really think there's no reason to just be throwing everything away. Like, everybody just wants to save the environment, but then they buy a brand new car, and it's like actually not how it works. Yeah. The unrelenting nature of the North Fork is what makes it so dangerous. The fact that it's the most continuous Class 5 in the lower 48 makes it one of the most unique and most challenging rivers. And basically what it comes down to is the North Fork demands perfection. You can't flip, it's too shallow, you definitely can't swim, and so you pretty much have to put it all together. Kayaking demands that you continue to evolve. I'm not trying to settle down to do what's comfortable. I want to continue to pursue these things that give me the most meaning out of life. Listen to everybody that had advice for you, we wouldn't go kayaking on the North Fork. Because when you go to put on the river, they're like, you're crazy, you're gonna die. And it's like, well, crazy is waiting in traffic and not going after the things that you're really passionate about.